All right, so today in the Watsons Go to Birmingham, we're going to be reading chapter 3, and it is called The World's Greatest Dinosaur War Ever. I couldn't believe it. The door opened in the middle of math class, and the principal pushed the older raggedy kid in. Mrs. Cordell said, "So, remember from last time? Remember the two boys got on the bus? And they said, yeah, y'all. And where did they say they were from? Mississippi. They said they were from Mississippi. All right. Boys and girls, we have a new student in our class today, starting today. His name is Rufus Fry. Now, I know all of you will help make Rufus feel welcome, won't you?" Someone sniggled. "Good, Rufus. Say hello to your new classmates, please." He didn't smile or wave or anything. He just looked down and said real quiet, "Hi." Why do you think he did that?
Shy.
Hmm.
No, afraid. He was getting bullied.
I don't. Karen, remember what happened on the bus? So they were making fun of him, and so now he probably feels what to talk? Embarrassed, scared, maybe frightened, nervous. Very good. All right. Yes. Okay, we're going to continue now. So everybody's listening. A couple of girls thought he was cute because they said, "Hi, Rufus. Why don't you sit next to Kenny, and he can help you catch up with what we're doing?" Mr. Cordell said. I couldn't even believe it. I wanted my personal saver to be as far away from me as he could get. I knew when you had two people who were going to get teased a lot, and they were close together, people didn't choose one of them to tease. They picked on both of them. And then, instead of picking on them the normal amount, they picked on them twice as much. Mrs. Cordell pushed the new kid over to enjoy the seat next to me. "Kenny, show Rufus where we are in the book." "I'll watch the new kid sideways," he said. "Kenny, I thought they said your name was Poindexter." The class cracked up, from his country style of talking, and part from laughing at me. I could tell that even Mrs. Cordell was fighting not to break out laughing. Though he was looking friendly when he said this, I kind of knew it had to be teasing, because who ever heard of anybody's mama giving them the name like Poindexter? When he sat down next to me, I tried to imitate Byron's death stare, but it didn't work, because the kid smiled at me real big and said, "Hi, my name's Rufus. What are we doing?" "Times tables." "That's easy. You need some help?" "No," I said, and scooted around in my seat, turned my head around, desperate for the guy was real desperate for a friend, because he even thought I wouldn't say much back to him. He kept jabbering away at me all through class. What does jabbering mean? Talking. So that could be a word you're writing on that book log. When lunchtime came, he followed me outside, right to the part of the playground where I sit to eat. He forgot about bringing a lunch, so I gave him one of Mama's throat-choking peanut butter sandwiches and let him eat the last half of my apple. He really was a strange kid. He only ate half of the sandwich and folded the rest up in wax paper. And when he handed him the apple, he even ate the spot where you could see my teeth had been. He didn't even wipe the slobber off of it. And man, this kid really could talk. He was yakking a mile a minute, saying stuff like, "Your mama sure can make a good peanut butter sandwich. And how come those kids are so darn mean?" Then he said something that made me get all funny and nervous inside. He said, "How come your eyes ain't looking in the same way?" I looked to see if maybe this was the start of some teasing. But he looked like he was really kind of looking down and kicking at the dirt with his raggedy shoes. He looked like he cared. It's a lazy eye. He stopped kicking dirt and said, "Don't it hurt?" "No." He said, "Oh." Then he kicked a little more dirt and hollered out, "Ooh, boy! Look at how fat that there is." "What? You don't see that squirrel?" he asked me and pointed up across the street. "That sure is one fat, dumb squirrel." I looked at that squirrel. It didn't look fat or dumb to me. It was a regular old squirrel sitting on a branch chewing on something. "How come you think it's dumb?" "What kind of squirrel sits in the open like that with folks all around? That squirrel wouldn't last 2 seconds in Arkansas. I'd have picked him off easy as nothing." The new kid pointed at the squirrel like his finger was a gun and said, "Bang! Squirrel stew tonight."
Oh, yeah, squirrel.
"You mean you shot a gun before?"
Yeah.
"You ain't? You mean you really ate a squirrel before?" "You ain't? A real gun?" "Nah, just a 22. "How's a squirrel taste?" "It tastes real good." "You mean you really shoot 'em with real bullets and then you really eat 'em?
No.
Real squirrels like that one?"
You saw the
"No, not that fat. Not that stupid. I guess all the fat, stupid ones been got already. Since I've been born, all that's in Arkansas is skinny, sneaky ones. I think them Michigan squirrels is worth 2 Arkansas ones." "Yes, sir."
I thought he was from America.
"He is in America. That's a different state.
Only 3 centimeters long.
He's in Michigan. That's a different state."
I thought he said
All right, Howie and Christian, thank you for listening. "You aren't lying." He raised his hand and said, "I swear for God," asked Cody. "Who?" The little shrunk up version of the new kid was sitting by himself up against the fence that runs around Clark watching us. The new kid waved at him and his little brother came running over. The big one pointed over to the squirrel. "Cody, look at here there." Cody laughed and said, "Oh boy, that sure is a fat squirrel." Cody laughed and said, "Oh boy." Oh, I just said that part. Sorry. He's a fat squirrel. "Think you could pick him off from here?" Cody pointed his finger like it was a gun and said, "Bang! Squirrels do tonight." I couldn't believe it. I couldn't even believe it. This little kid had shot a gun too. "You shot a real gun?"
Yeah.
"Nah, just a 22. With real bullets?" The little one looked at his big brother to see why I was asking all this stuff. It seemed like they were trying to be patient with me, like I was real dummy or something. The older one said, "Tell him." "Yeah, it was real bullets." "What else you gonna shoot out a gun?" I still didn't believe them, but the bell rang and lunch was over. I know he didn't think I noticed, but the big kid gave his little brother the other half of my sandwich. I guess both of them had forgot about their lunch.